So these are two castings that I did from the same mold using Stonecast material. This one's been inside and on my fridge, and this one's been outside for the last at least a week. I think about 10 days. I should have written the date down. I wanted to see how well this would hold up outside, how well it would weather. It's only been a week, but it's been quite an eventful week. Very rainy, very wet, but also very hot at the same time. There have been a couple of really extraordinary days with the sun as well. And so we're going to discuss like the results. So this still has a lot of water retention. I brought it in yesterday. It still needs to dry out. I could put that in the oven and dry it, which I've learned on a low heat will work pretty well actually. But it's kept the detail over the one that's never been outside, never been wet. So it holds its own pretty good. I think if I was doing garden furniture though, I'm thinking doing some like crazy gnomes and stuff for the garden, in addition to my masks, then this would actually be a good material. It does need to be treated. It does need to be painted. I don't know, maybe I sell it as like a kit with some paints, or just with a bit of, or I offer to paint it. I'm trying to think of something as low effort, low for me as possible. Because obviously it's my animation channel that takes up a lot of time, and that's what I'm really trying to focus on. This is supposed to be, but and I've got to make the models as well, so there's a lot of work. Painting them not only takes a long time, but also the amount of time I'd spend painting them would add to the cost to such a degree. It would be ridiculous unless I just do cartoon characters. But as I say, I'm just trying to figure it out at the moment what I'm doing. So yeah, I really like this Stonecast material. It's also, this whole casting process also made me rethink the mask situations. I had ordered a GK3 on pre-order, but quite frankly at the moment money's not coming in, so I can't really afford that, and I've had to sit down and have a hard look at what I need to do in my shop to make it more appealing. I need to get these masks out. I need to get my process. I need to prioritize my process a little bit. I have masks that are ready to go, but at the moment I can't print and test them because it's literally like I'm at the end of the month, so I'm waiting for the next week. It's really tough for me at the moment. But that aside, what it has shown me is that I can make a composite mold, maybe of a few pieces, on the equipment I've already got, which is GK2, which is pretty large. So I could do a mask. Let's grab one actually. I can do one about her size, which is, she's practically full size, but that's the sort of maximum that I can go. Now I could do an oversized mask, or a mask that's a little bit bigger, or a wall hanger that's a bit bigger. But once I've got the initial one printed and done and I'm happy with it, I can make a mold from it. And from the mold, I can produce about 100 of these things before the mold starts wearing out, allegedly. I haven't tested it. So let's say 50 to be on the safe side, because you want a certain amount of quality. And they will be more environmentally friendly than she is, which I like, because they're made out of stone material. They're very durable. They have a great feel. I've spoken about this before, but they're much heavier than the straightforward printed ones. But there's something about the stone material which feels more premium than this, even though in the long term this will be cheaper to produce than this, because I only have to produce one of these and the molds, which doubles the cost of one of these. But then when I start casting, it costs half as much to actually make one of these, including my time and my materials, and including the shipping, which I've not really thought about how much this would weigh. So I'm going to have to do a test. Like this is already quite heavy in comparison. So I'm going to have to work that out. But it made me think, well, I don't actually need a huge printer if I'm going to do full size ones. What I can do is do them in parts, or maybe get a cheap FDM printer, and I'll have to finish the product off by hand, the positive, I guess, the original model, and then I can make a mold from it, and from that mold then I can run these off. So it's a slightly different process, but I'm feeling a bit more comfortable with it because fundamentally the shop is not really making any money at the moment. That's down to me with my marketing that's not working. I'm not getting the products up on the website. And there's something about the WordPress site that I'm unhappy with. I can't get the membership to work exactly how I want it to. So I may have to just set up a Patreon and offer people in my Patreon a discount code, or maybe do both. And then you can, either join through the website or you can join on Patreon, and you both get the same sort of discounts. The only problem with Patreon, it takes a far bigger slice than WordPress does. But I can't afford the full. WordPress's membership plugin requires the subscription plugin. Now, I don't want subscriptions, I just want the membership, but you can't buy one without the other, and it's a substantial outlay, especially every month for a small guy like me. Could I do Ko-Fi? Yeah, I could do Ko-Fi or Coffee, but I found last time I used it, I didn't really get that much of a response. And the system that I'm thinking, what I'm going to have to start, I'm going to try some other outlets where I tried out Etsy, which I only put a few items on there. I was a bit wary because of what's going on with Etsy at the moment. It seems to be basically a scraping hub for Temu, and I didn't want that. At least if it's on my own website, there's things I can do to the image, and there's things I can do to prevent the blatant scraping and copying of my designs, because I've got to charge a certain amount for this just to even break even, and Timo can just once they get the molds and think they're popular enough, they can just churn out as many as they want. But I'm not at that stage that people think it's worthwhile stealing from me. Anyhow, so animation channel is doing pretty well. I'm finding my groove there. The animations are still taking quite a while to do. I'm getting one out every couple of weeks. I've got to get back to this, but as I say, I'm at a stage this month where I can't really even invest in the cost of materials to continue with my experimentation. And I feel like my audience is too small for me to even start thinking about Patreon for just my website, for that sort of stuff. And the shop t-shirts aren't doing so well at the moment. I don't know, I need to have a proper look at stuff, and I've been avoiding it for a while. So this week I'm going to be focused on the shop because I can't really do much else. I need to focus on the shop. I've got some animations I'm working on, and bonus, I fixed my laptop. My laptop was making horrible noise. I fixed it. I'm very happy. I'm doing a soak test at the moment, so we'll see how that goes. She's available on the website to download at the moment. I'm not doing print on demand yet. I keep saying that I'm going to be doing it soon. I haven't set that up, so I need to get back to it and do that, because I think if I was doing these as print on demand, they would start selling, because she looks good. I could even put a light inside her and make her an illuminated sign, but that's tests for later. Okay, that's just what I'm up to, where I'm at the moment, and ciao for now. Be good to each other.